Well, hi everybody, I'm Bob Nagin, co-founder of WhizBang Retail Training, and today we're going to talk about marketing your retail store in this crazy new world. I don't need to tell you how unbelievable the last several months have been. And you know, if you're watching this video, you've made it. Congratulations. But now is the time to start to think about what it's going to be like in the future. What it was is different than what it's going to be. And if you're at home watching this and hoping that life will return to normal, that business will be the way that it was before the pandemic, I think you're in for a real rude awakening. So today what we're going to do is talk about what the landscape looks like right now, and then we're going to talk about, I'm going to share some very applicable tactics that you can use in your business, tactics that will work in your business now. Post-pandemic marketing. It's not fancy, it's not, crazy, but I guarantee you that it will work. But before we begin, please allow me to introduce myself and tell you a little bit more about me. So as I mentioned, my name is Bob Nagin, and in 1981, I was 23 years old. Yes, that does date me. And I started one of the world's first kite stores. That's me with the mustache and the short shorts. So the reason that I'm sharing this picture is I've been in retail for a long time. For 19 years, I ran the Mackinac Kite Company. First year, we did $17,000 in that first summer season, $17,000 that whole season, a pitiful $17,000. But when I sold it to my younger brother, Steve, in 1999, or sold my share to Steve in 1999, we were about a $3.5 million business. A lot of you might not be impressed by $3.5 million, but that's a lot of kites and toys. And most importantly, our business ran really well. And so when I sold my share of the company to my brother Steve, my wife Susan and I, who was also a career retailer, she was a department store executive, and then she came to work with us at WhizBang Retail Training. We started WhizBang Retail Training, and all we have done for the last 20 years is work with small to mid-sized independent brick and mortar retailers like you. Primarily brick and mortar. More and more people are starting to do blends, click and mortar, OmniExperiential. We'll get into that in just a little bit. But the point here is I have been in retail for a long time. I have spoke in Atlanta at America's March several times. I have spoken in over 50 different retail industries. I know what I'm talking about, I guess is the point here. So let's talk about what retail is going to look like. What is the future going to look like? We don't know for sure. I don't have a crystal ball, but here's what I can tell you is trends are emerging, patterns are emerging, and if you have a good understanding of where things might be going, the general direction, I think that you'll be much better equipped to not only get through, but on the other side, be stronger, be better, be more resilient. So there are problems right now. We can certainly agree on that, right? The economy is in terrible shape right now. People are talking recession. The economy is terrible right now. Record unemployment. And not on top of that, there is incredible uncertainty. This whole COVID-19 virus, right now, as you are watching this, you are seeing the cases rise. So we don't know what's going to happen with the coronavirus. We don't know what's going to happen with the economy. All we can do is sort of hold on and navigate the best that we can. But there's problems, but there's also opportunities. So there's positives. So one of the positives, and I don't mean this as a positive in general, but I do mean it as a positive to you as an independent, is that there's going to be a lot less stores. I mean, it's happening right now. Department stores, chains are falling like dominoes. And when department stores fall, the malls which they anchor will start to, experience problems. The same thing with the mid-sized chains that, anchor strip centers. When they go out of business, it's not good for the strip center. So there are a lot of businesses that are going to be casualties of both the economy and what is happening with the coronavirus. And so while I never like to see a business go out of business, and I never like to see someone lose their livelihoods, when it comes to the competitive landscape, it's good for us. I always say retail isn't dead, but bad retail is dying quickly. So that's one of the positives, that there is less competition. There's also people are spending more money, or let me just say it a different way. People are used to spending money on experiences. Go out to dinner, go to a concert, go to a sporting event. People are used to going to have experiences where there are other people or large groups of people, and that money is going to find its way to someone. So let's just say that there's 20% unemployment. It still means that there's 80% employment, and that money has to go someplace. People are still human beings. They want to experience things. They want to have a good time. And if you can create the experience, if you can build the relationship, that money is going to find its way, some of it anyway, to you. And then the final thing that I want to say is the final positive is that I believe that there is a real movement towards local right now. I've always appreciated the shop local movement, but I never thought that it gained the traction that it should or could have. And that's no judgment on anyone. It just never seemed to, it seemed like the only people who were really behind it were the merchants. But I do believe that something different has happened here, that people are truly understanding the value of their local community businesses, and they're making a point of supporting it. It's hitting them in a different place right now. So there's problems, but there's positives. Here's the other thing that I want to say is you have a choice how you are going to see things. You can see the problems or you can react to the positives. You can be the victim or you can be the victor. The choice is yours. Choose wisely, because I do believe that the future has never been brighter for good independent brick and mortar retailers. Okay, so here's a metaphor for you, a metaphor for the future. So there is freighters and there are dinghies, and this picture was taken outside here in Grand Haven, Michigan, where our office is located. This is a beach town on Lake Michigan, and that is a lake-going freighter, and this is a dinghy. So the freighter has enormous advantages, doesn't it? The freighter is big, it has range, it has cargo space, it has a lot of strengths, and that freighter is kind of like Amazon. Amazon has capital, it has data, it has distribution. Amazon has a lot of competitive advantages. That's just the way it is. Complaining about Amazon is like walking in the rain and complaining about getting wet. It's just one of our competitive competitive realities. However, the dinghy is you. And so the dinghy has its own set of strengths. The dinghy can move. The dinghy can change directions on a dime. If the weather's really bad, the dinghy can beach itself and, run up into safety. So the dinghy has a lot of, advantages and strengths also. And you are the dinghy. You have the ability to take an idea that you're going to get on this webinar and put it to use in your business. When the world zigs, you have the opportunity to zag. You have nimbleness and creativity are a beautiful, beautiful thing if you are an independent retail business. You know, your ability to engage your brain and engage your creative muscles is your that's your number one competitive advantage. Your ability to build community, your ability to, to make people feel good about you. So the reason for this metaphor and for this slide is a recognition that, yes, Amazon is the freighter, but you have competitive advantages also. Just make sure that you recognize them and act on them. Now let's talk about marketing. And we define marketing as the business activity of presenting products and services to your potential customers, and I would also say your current customers, in such a way as to make them eager to buy. In such a way as to make them eager to buy. Pre-pandemic, most of us brick and mortar retailers, even if we did have an online presence, our marketing was about getting people into the store. Your social media, your email marketing, if you sent out direct mail, it was mostly about driving people into the store where your customers would see your beautiful merchandise, your creative displays, and hopefully your highly trained team would give them the kind of experience that would make them want to come back. But now, in this new world, marketing is not just about getting them to come into your store. It's about engaging them in such a way that makes them eager to buy. And we'll get into that a little deeper in just a moment. But here is one of the key concepts that I want you to sort of think about through the rest of our time here together today. When we teach marketing, we talk about the emotional bank account. And the emotional bank account is a concept that I flat out stole from Stephen Covey who I learned it from when I read his book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And Covey contends, and I agree, that in any relationship, there needs to be 10 deposits for every withdrawal. And I believe that that is true in your relationships with your customers. And so when you market your business, what you're trying to do is build the emotional bank account. And every time you give something that is fun, interesting, a solution to a problem, something that engages a customer, it's a deposit. And every time you ask them to do something like buy something, it's a withdrawal. And just as you manage your physical bank account at your bank with your dollars, the same holds true with your emotional bank account. So when you start thinking about marketing, you're always thinking about putting more in so that you have the balance to take more out. And just like with a regular bank account, the more you put in, the more you can take out. So when you're thinking about your marketing, you're asking yourself, how am I building the balance in the emotional bank account? Here's an operative term. Givers get. And your marketing is not about getting so much, it's about giving so that you can get. So every time you put a funny social meme on social media, that's a deposit. If you make a video that's helpful, that's a deposit. If you send out an email newsletter that's fun and interesting, that's a deposit. It's all about deposit, deposit, deposit. And then when you have a clearance sale or you have a sale or you're doing something, you say, hey, come on in. That's a withdrawal. So I had a friend or a client who had a kitchenware store in Utah. And the way he described it was perfect. He was like, this is how I look at it. Technique, 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 recipe, 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 recipe. Oh, Wusthof knives are on sale. Get your butt in here, right? And if you build that relationship the right way, when you say Wusthof knives are on sale, get your butt in here, people are more predisposed to get their butts in there. If you just have deal of the day, deal of the day, deal of the day, that's deposit, 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 and people get tired of that. So when we think about the emotional bank account, one of the ways to set yourself up for success when it comes to building the balance in your emotional bank account is this concept of WWMCW. And my wife Susan and I, when we think about retail, we are or business, our business too, we are incredibly customer focused. It's all about the customer. It's all about the customer. So everything is an expense but the customer, right? The customer is what brings the money in. And we were trying to find a way to describe how you think about this relationship and how you act on that relationship. And we came up with WWMCW. What would my customer want? Let me say that again. What would my customer want? Some of our clients have made bracelets for their team members, so their team members wear it on the floor. Why? Because you're always staying focused on what your customers want. This is both a strategy and a philosophy. It's a way of looking at business, and it's a way of allocating your resources. So what would my customer want? This is even more important right now. Why? Because this is the age of the customer. Your customers have more choices than ever. Amazon is a behemoth, e-commerce businesses, brands are growing like crazy. So your opportunity is to create relationships that make you the first choice. And the way that you do that is by asking yourself, WWMCW. What would my customer want? And then when you start to ask that question in this new reality, we come up with something that we call the OmniExperiential Retail. OmniExperiential Retail. And so again, it used to be that we would try to drive people into our store. Now what we're trying to do is give them more options. Let your customers buy from you, engage with you, all of it. Let your customers experience you the way that they want to experience you, not the way that you want them to experience you. So Omni, it's all of these different ways. Meeting your customers where they want to be met is one of your secrets in this crazy new world. So once you start getting clear about the way that you're doing business, now it becomes time to communicate. I know so many independent retailers who do so many great things, but they don't talk about it. They don't communicate it. They don't shout it from the rooftops. And if you're doing things that reflect WWMCW, that are part of OmniExperiential Retail, let your customers know about it. Be happy to brag on yourself, right? Let people know. I'll give you a great example of this, and I think that this is so important. And there's not a slide about it, but I want to talk about it right here. And we call it safety marketing. Safety marketing. Right now, as you're watching this, America, the United States is seeing a dramatic upsurge in the in coronavirus numbers. And my opinion is that it's not going to go down anytime soon, in that we are in for an uncertain time. And when uncertainty happens, people want to feel safe. So I think it's great marketing to be truly concerned about the safety of your customers, your team, yourself. Be truly concerned that your merchandise is sanitized. So have real safety procedures in place and then over-communicate that to your customers. So if the coronavirus was going down, it might not be necessary. But as the coronavirus, if that surge continues, you over-communicating what you're doing to keep people safe, I think, is a great, great marketing piece. So communicate. I said, it's not your customer's job to remember you. It's your job to be remembered. Say it again. It is not your customer's job to remember you. It's your job to be remembered. More and more, if you can make your emails fun and interesting, if you can make your social media fun and interesting, solutions to problems, all of those things, and you communicate it, good things are going to happen. So when we talk about OmniExperiential Retail, what we're talking about is giving people more options, letting people shop the way that they want to shop. The world is opening up. The in-store experience is becoming important again. A lot of people are dying to go into a store and shop. A lot of people are. Give them that. That is one of the experiences that you offer. Social media is another way that people want to experience you, engage with you, and buy from you. There has been a huge upsurge in social selling, and we're going to talk about that in a little while too. Website and e-commerce, again, you know, I know so many independent retailers, small and mid-sized, 10, 15, 20 stores that, sort of dabbled in e-commerce, but this whole pandemic has gotten people very serious about letting people buy. People want to shop on the phone. A lot of people just want to pick up the phone and talk to somebody. They don't want to come into your store. And more we're seeing shopping by appointments. So let's just recognize, going back to this whole safety marketing thing, that people, and this idea that people want to shop local, that if you've done a good job pre-pandemic of building relationships with your customers, they want to support you. But you have to let them support you in the way that they want to. A lot of people do not want to come into your store. That's okay. They still want to buy with you. They might want to buy from Facebook Live. You may want to drive them to your e-commerce site with social media. You might want to tell them to pick up the phone and call you. But you see what we're doing? It's no longer about just driving people into the store. It's about OmniExperiential Retail. And we want to give them more delivery options. Some people, again, here's one of the problems that I have as a trainer, is that every store is different. Every business and industry is different. Every area of the country, of North America, is different. If you have a store in Brooklyn, New York, you may be reacting entirely differently than if you have a store, say, in rural Montana. So I'm speaking in generalities here, but I think that not only giving people more ways to buy, but giving them more ways that you can deliver them is part of OmniExperiential Retail. Of course, one of the delivery options is come pick it up in the store, come in the store, buy it in the store, and take it home from you. I think curbside pickup is here to stay. Again, a lot of people are not comfortable going in the store, or like me. I am comfortable going into a store if the store wears face masks, if I know that they are engaging in safety practices, and I need something, I wear a face mask if I feel comfortable going into some stores. But even the stores I feel comfortable going into, if I know they have curbside, I will call ahead, order, pay, and then just pick up. I have a mother-in-law who is compromised. And me being hyper careful is important to me. And I think there are so many people like that. So I think curbside pickup is here to stay. I think it's part of OmniExperiential Retail, something to think about. Local delivery. I just did a webinar just yesterday for a major floral group. And florists have been delivering forever, but now we're seeing a lot more with pet, a lot more in gift, a lot more in just about everything. So again, people don't want to go out. If you bring it to them, you're more likely to get the business. And finally, shipping. The United States Postal Service is experiencing banner times right now because people are not going into stores as much as they did. They're using all these OmniExperiential Retail methods, and so a lot of people are just buying online, calling the store, buying through social selling, and then just having it shipped to them. So that's what we're talking about when we talk about Experiential Retail. I just really want to encourage you to think about how can you make it easy for your customers to engage with you, and how can you make it easy for them to buy from you. And this is the way to think about it. You know, always look at through the lens of WWMCW. What would my customer want? Okay, now that we've sort of set the stage, let's talk about some actual marketing tactics that you can use in your store. The first one is to send gift certificates. Now, a lot of people, when I sit to talk about gift certificate marketing, because here at WhizBang Retail Training, we are the only people that I know of that really teaches gift certificate marketing this way. So many people give away coupons, and we don't like giving away coupons. Why? People treat coupons like trash. They treat gift certificates like cash. When you give a person a gift certificate, a true gift certificate, you put the rule of reciprocity into play. And the rule of reciprocity simply says givers get. So if you can, so let's say you give away a $10 gift certificate, which means you have roughly $5 in your cost of goods. If you can get somebody into your store for $5 and your average sale is $30, $40, $50, you have bought that visit. If you give it to a new customer and they come in, it's not just the value from that transaction, it's the lifetime value of that customer. So we have lots and lots and lots of tactics built around this whole gift certificate marketing idea. But just recognize, for the sake of this conversation, that when you give somebody a piece of paper that looks like money, that it sort of becomes money in their head. Look, I'm a guy. I have never clipped a coupon in my entire life. But when I say guy, I mean I'm a guy. You know, I'm not a coupon clipper. But I'm also Dutch, and Dutch people are known for being frugal. And so if I get a gift certificate, I can't give it away because it's like throwing away money. So when you compare coupons to gift certificates, the redemption rate, meaning the amount of people that actually come in and use your gift certificate, goes way, way, way up. So how can you give away these gift certificates? So right now what we're talking about is using gift certificates to get your current customers back engaged with you, to get your current customers excited about shopping with you again. So one way to do it is with snail mail. So you send an envelope, a gift certificate in an envelope or with your logo on it. In the envelope, there is a letter on your letterhead, and the letter has a message, something along the lines of, hey, we're back, we missed you, we can't wait to see you. If you know, here is $10, $20, $5. You know, we don't have time to get into what the appropriate denomination is, but ask yourself, what would I pay to get somebody into my store and looking at my goods and engaging with my team? We're going to sell them something. So just make the tone super, super positive. We've missed you. We want to see you again. Come on in. Here's $10 for you to spend on anything that you want. No strings attached. This is the whole thing. No strings attached. Treat it like cash. So this is going to be wonderful. People are going to go, wow, I miss Bob too. And then they come in. You can also send postcards. And a postcard would be one side looks like a gift certificate. You know, you get your graphic designer to make it look like a gift certificate. And on the other side, there is their address, their name and address, and the same message, only much shorter. So, you know, we missed you. Use this postcard as a gift certificate. Come on in. We'd love to see you. So the difference between snail mail and postcards, snail mail, if the gift certificate is in the envelope on the letterhead, you get a chance to talk more. You get a chance to make your case more. But with postcards, more people are going to see. I'm looking at my timer and it's not working. All right, well, we're just going to keep going. I apologize for that little interruption. A postcard, then, everybody gets a chance to see it. So even though snail mail, you get a chance to make your case, with postcards, people will see it. Everyone will look at it both sides and engage with it or not. Here's other two things that people always ask: should there be an expiration on your gift certificate? And in general, I don't like expiration dates. However, if you want to drive traffic, if you want people to come in right away, having an expiration date does create urgency, create scarcity. Now, this is really important. If you're watching this and you're taking notes, please write this down. The only line of fine print you should have on your gift certificate is this: please, only one gift certificate per person. Only one gift certificate per person, because otherwise people collect them and come in. If you're giving away a $10 gift certificate, somebody comes in with 10 gift certificates and go, wow, I've got $100 to spend. And that is not what you want. So Facebook Live or Instagram Live is another marketing tactic that is really taking off, took off through the pandemic. So recognize or think about it this way. There's sort of two tracks. And one track is content, fun, shows. So this is education. This is where you teach people how to decorate for the holidays. This is where you have recipes. This is where you show people how to do things. You know, it's content. It's teaching them something. It's doing something fun. But then the other track is what we call social selling. And that's when you pick up the thing and go, hey, you know, I have this on sale, you know, buy it now. QVC style. Would you love this WhizBang retail training logo cup? It's only $9.99. Put sold in the comments below, and you know, we'll make sure that we call you for your phone number, for your credit card number, and we'll get it out to you. Comment sold is a technology that you can use with Facebook Lives. You can also invite your vendors. I was having a conversation with one of our clients who has a quilt store, and she's having great success with Facebook Lives, both with social selling and by just doing content. And one of the things that she's doing is she is inviting celebrity quilters, and she's doing interviews with them on Zoom chat, and people are just loving it. So your vendors can be your partners in these live social media events. Again, what are we trying to do? We're trying to engage our customers in a meaningful way without having to have them come into our store. Private appointments and personal clienteling are becoming more and more important. Again, OmniExperiential Retail. They don't want to come into your store, or if they want to come into your store, but they want to get in, or they want to get out, or they want to come in before hours or after hours. That's what appointments all about. So you can have appointments in your store, and you know, that's one way to do it. You can also sell via FaceTime. Call me up. We'll talk on FaceTime, right? I'll walk you through the store. We'll talk about it. I'll show you the merchandise. You can shop almost as if you were here in the store, just via FaceTime. And phone, text, or email, all of these, again, let's just recognize that not everybody wants to come into your store, but you have to find other ways to engage them. Real quickly, I want to talk about personal clienteling. And personal clienteling is when you assign your customers to your team members. So let's just say that Nate, I had a gift shop, and Nate was one of my best customers. I would say to Susan, who was one of my team members, Susan, you and Nate get along famously. I see that. Susan, you are responsible for the relationship with Nate. If something comes in that you know that Nate would like, you call them up. So it is really the process of assigning people to signing customers to your team members. And it is a powerful, powerful, powerful way for you to build relationships and build sales. If you want to know more about clienteling, you can go to our special coronavirus resource page. Go to whizbangtraining.com/coronavirus and scroll down about halfway down the page, and you will see several interviews. Watch the interview with Maureen Doran, the owner of Skirt. It's a high-end women's clothing store in the Philadelphia area, and you'll learn about her clienteling program. This is really, really, really powerful stuff, folks, and I would encourage you to do that. I would encourage you to spend an hour listening to what Maureen is doing, because it has really, really driven traffic for her. This is a program called Refillables, and with Refillables, you can use this program weekly, monthly. Let's talk about what happens. So we learned about Refillables from Platinum. We have a group called the Platinum Mastermind Group. It's our highest level group. And the Kennedys, Holly and Lori Haveman from Kennedy's Flowers in Grand Rapids, Michigan started this. But here's what happens. They give away, or they sell, or they use with their local nonprofits these refillables, these small containers. And then when you have this container, you can come in at a predetermined interval, like weekly or monthly, and they will put a couple of flowers into it. So people love it, right? They come in, they get a nice little refilled with flowers. But guess what? It's another visit, right? They're coming into the store. And Kennedy's Flowers has a beautiful gift shop, so when people come in, they look around. Again, their team gets a chance to engage with them. So this Refillables program is powerful, powerful, powerful. So if you have a pet store, you can give away a little container that people can bring in and get doggy treats or cat treats. One of our clients has got a tack shop, several tack shops, but equestrian, horse stuff. And she attributed $60,000 in additional sales just to the sales that came in from her Refillables program. So this is hot stuff, folks. What can you give away that you can refill? And then there's the name game. So the name game goes like this. So this is, we learned this from our friend Kelly Larson. And so she has the front porch. It's an ice cream store. So she puts out on a busy street a sandwich board. And anybody who has the name, in this case Alex, gets a free ice cream cone. But then she posts it on social media. And so look at this one day's results. I don't know if you can see this, but she had 57 people engaged, 87 shares, 206 comments, and all of these people. So a tremendous engagement for the price of an ice cream cone. The thing about an ice cream cone is very few people come in by themselves. They bring their families. So the name game is a powerful, powerful way for you to drive traffic. This is our friend Deborah Purdy. She's a Platinum Mastermind Group alumni also. She has a natural skincare business in Windsor, Ontario, and she gave away a free bar of soap. Again, 271 comments, 62 shares, 105 people interacted with this page. So Deborah understands lifetime value of a customer and has figured it out, and she determined that in the first month she did the name game, she generated $105,000, I think it was 105, in lifetime value. She didn't generate $105,000 worth of business that month, but she acquired enough new customers and their lifetime value to determine that it was worth $105,000 for her. Mystery bags are becoming more and more popular. It's an easy and fast way for people to buy. Again, if you built the emotional bank account and you have mystery bags for the 4th of July, for Labor Day, for Mother's Day, just tell people that they trust you and know that, put a discount. There's $100 worth of merchandise in this bag, but you can get it for $74.99. It's a great way to clear older merchandise, but good merchandise. Don't give them junk. Don't give them shop-worn stuff. Make sure that they love what they get, but it's fun, and mystery bags are great, great, great for Facebook Lives. This is one of our clients, and she has 11 stores on the Delaware Shore. But man, when she goes on Facebook Live and talks about mystery bags for particular holidays or particular occasions, people go crazy. And this is something else that is really becoming a lot more popular in our community. And this is creating a special Facebook group, not a page, a group for outlet. So one of our clients has got a store, 2 stores in Collinwood, Ontario. And the name of her store is Coriander. So she calls it Coriander Closets, Coriander's Closet. And that's where she sells her closeouts. So she has a lot less space in her store for clearance. And most of the people who are coming are really, really, most of her clearance customers are shopping in this outlet group. Now, I know a lot of you are going, man, I hate my clearance customers. The only time they buy from me is when something's on sale, and I get that. I used to feel the exact same way. And then one day I had an epiphany. I went, wait a second. These people, the only time they shop with us is when we have a clearance sale, sidewalk sales, post-holiday clearance sales. And maybe they can't afford my higher quality goods. Maybe they're just frugal. Maybe they're working on a budget. Rather than being annoyed at them because they don't pay full price, maybe I should be honored that they're choosing to spend their money with me anyway. And then I realized that there's a metaphor for this. And if you have an aquarium or know anybody who has an aquarium, an important part of the ecosystem in that aquarium is bottom feeders, right? The bottom feeders keep the aquarium clean. And those clearance customers are an important part of your business's ecosystem. And if you have an outlet Facebook group, those people are going to find that, they're going to love it, and you should love them for loving it. And then really what we're talking about here, this whole thing is about authenticity and authority. All of these tactics that we've shared, that we've talked about here, and all of the things that we talked about beforehand, it's all about being real. We talked about being the dinghy and being nimble and being able to change on a dime. And it's important, it's true. But I wanted to end with this slide because you have an opportunity. You have a real opportunity. And that is to be yourself and show yourself and be true to yourself. And when you do that, people are going to buy from you. People want to shop with those they know, like, and trust. I was having a conversation with a client, and we were talking about, she was not predisposed, let's just say it that way. She was terrified to do a Facebook Live, but then the pandemic came, right? Everything was locked down. She started doing Facebook Lives. And she said, Bob, I remembered something that you told me, and I started to be true to it, and it worked. And what I shared with her once upon a time, don't even remember it, but this, find out what you're good at and do more of it. Be yourself and do more of it. Be vulnerable. If you're going to do a Facebook Live, you're going to screw it up the first couple times. The lighting's going to go crazy. You're going to cut off half your head. You're going to be nervous. That's okay. People love to see it. People love you being you. When you are you, when you're authentic, the people who should be your customers will find you. And not only will they find you, but they will trust you. You will have authority. So again, this is a wonderful time for you to be an independent retailer, assuming you're prepared to change, to grow, to adapt, to be different, to be better, to keep moving forward. So finally, let's just talk about something really quickly here. These are our free resources here at WhizBang Retail Training. I would encourage you, whizbangtraining.com. There is an H in WhizBang, whizbangtraining.com. We have a free tip of the week. If you subscribe to our tip of the week, every Wednesday you'll get a text tip, and every Monday you'll get a video tip, Real Retail TV. We have a wonderful, active, positive, proactive Facebook group. It's called WhizBang Retailers. There's over 4,500 members, and it is not a place for negativity. It is a place for positivity and support. And of course, WhizBang Retail Training or WhizBang Training are on all of the social media platforms, and I would encourage you to follow us where you are. All right, well, that wraps it up. I hope that you found something of value. I hope that our time here together inspired you to think differently about the future, to maybe have a little mental reset, to, do more with the future. So the future is bright if we take control of our future. So anyway, thank you so much for giving me the time here. Thanks to Atlantasmart for having me here. And again, I'm Bob Nagin. Thanks for being here. Bye-bye.